Hello and welcome to our presentation on the gate control theory of pain. In the early to mid-1900s, two theories of pain, specificity theory and pattern theory, dominated scientific discourse. However, both had considerable theoretical limitations. In 1965, Melzack and Wall introduced the gate control theory of pain, which adopted strengths from these two theories while addressing their drawbacks. The basic idea is that there is an area in the brain called the substantia gelatinosa, which acts as a gate control system modulating the experience of pain. The gate control system can either increase or decrease the severity of pain perception, meaning that two people with the same injury may have vastly different experiences of pain. To better understand how this works, let's have a look at the journey of a pain signal from the site of the injury to the brain. Imagine you encounter a painful stimulus such as jamming your finger in a door. Pain signals originate in pain receptors in the finger and are sent to an area in the dorsal spinal cord called the substantia gelatinosa via a primary neuron. Once at the substantia gelatinosa, the pain signal continues along a secondary neuron to a part of the brain called the thalamus. Finally, the pain signal continues along a tertiary neuron to the parietal lobe, and it is at this point that the person becomes aware of the pain. This is the standard pathway for a pain signal, but gate control theory states that pain signals can be modulated. This modulation occurs in the substantia gelatinosa. When we take a measure to decrease pain, neurochemical processes in the substantia gelatinosa decrease the amount of pain signals reaching the parietal lobe, thus decreasing the perception of pain. These pain-decreasing influences can come from two sources. Bottom-up influences refer to sensory information originating in the body, such as rubbing the painful area to soothe the pain. Interestingly, cognitive or emotional signals originating in the brain, known as top-down influences, can also modulate pain perception. It is these top-down influences that provide an explanation for how meaning-making of the painful stimulus or event can shape an individual's perception of pain. We will now discuss some further evidence for this claim.
Pain, in of itself, can be explained by no one factor and is one where change in any type of system within the perception of pain usually affects the other system. The biopsychosocial framework is one that encompasses factors from all three factors of life to develop a model which seeks to explain the complex interaction between said factors and how they can jointly influence one's perception of pain and meaning. Schizophrenia. It's a mental disorder typically characterized by the loss of white matter in the brain, which causes symptoms such as hallucinations and delusions. Due to this loss in brain matter, many brain functions are altered, and specifically in this context, areas which pertain to pain sensitivity. Two major hypotheses exist: cognitive processing abnormalities and the inhibition of pain receptors themselves, such as the mechanisms which operate with gate control. There are findings which give credibility to both hypotheses. The common conclusion underlying these studies is that schizophrenics experience a reduction in pain perception compared to healthy individuals. Whether they simply have reduced pain reception or express the pain in an abnormal fashion is unclear. What is clear is that these biological findings are not exempt of factors such as social and psychological factors. In the Anglo-Saxon context, research has shown that stigma associated with schizophrenia may have given researchers inaccurate and downplayed accounts of their experiences of pain, which results in a lack of data to account for the true amount of pain people with schizophrenia experience. In addition, the psychological expressions of hallucinations and delusions add to the complexities of their subjective views of pain.
We will now move on to psychological factors, or in other words, the cognitive effect of top-down influences is mentioned in the beginning. Chronic pain is defined as any pain that lasts longer than 3 months, and is estimated to affect anywhere from 10% to over a quarter of the population. Treatment options can be pharmacological or non-pharmacological, the former including anticonvulsants or opioids, while the latter including cognitive behavior therapy or dialectical pain management. Chronic pain can affect all aspects of an individual's life, including work, school, caregiving roles, and relationships, and is often comorbid with mental health and substance use disorders. As such, it is often the case that patients suffering from it may catastrophize pain. Pain catastrophizing is a response style where patients often view pain as uncontrollable, permanent, and destructive, and it impacts the outcomes of chronic pain patients. Studies have found that pain catastrophizing may be associated with altered central nervous system functioning, such as diminished endogenous inhibition of pain, coupled with central sensitization. As a consequence, chronic pain patients that catastrophize pain often experience higher levels of pain. While pharmacological treatments exist, non-pharmacological treatment have been shown to help as well. Cognitive behavioral therapy is focused on altering a person's behavior, emotions, and thoughts through activities such as scheduling pleasant activities, as well as identifying and modifying cognitive distortions. Dialectical pain management, on the other hand, is a dialectical integration of cognitive behavior therapy and acceptance and commitment therapy, the latter of the two focusing on the acceptance of pain and living life regardless of it. Both of these therapy options have been shown to be effective in pain management, and DPM has been shown to reduce opioid dosages in chronic pain patients in some cases, suggesting that the perceived intensity of pain experienced by a chronic pain patient is reduced through methods that change cognitive affective factors of pain.
Example number 3. Depending on the social and cultural context, people may change the meaning of their pain into one of devotion and sacrifice, a positive endeavor. Thaipusam is a Hindu festival wherein Lord Murugan is celebrated. People congregate in the magnitude of thousands to self-mutilate via whole-body piercings and embark on a pilgrimage to cleanse themselves of sin. Despite the extremity of their injuries as a result of self-mutilation, participants reported low levels of pain. They found that this is because of low cultural expectations of pain and a beneficial outcome as a result of their mutilation. As this is also religious, people reported dissociative episodes which were associated with low levels of pain as well. From a gate control perspective, their gate was mainly closed as a result of thoughts of religious devotion and cultural views of pain. Again, this particular case study is another instance of how biopsychosocial factors affect people's perception of pain. A favorable social perspective of how mutilation doesn't really hurt lessens the effect of pain, which affects their psychological state to one of spiritual trance and their biological state to one of disassociation to cope with the biological pain. Depending on one's social context, it shifts the meaning of pain from an isolated experience to a communal act of love and devotion.
So now that we've gone through the theoretical aspects of gate control theory, we'll be moving to some real-world applications of this concept. So many of us have done some form of exercise in the past, I'm sure, and some of us may even frequent the gym. So going to the gym is debatably not everyone's favorite activity, but most would at least agree that it serves the function of building muscle or getting in shape. But we also know that it's not uncommon for many of us to experience some sort of muscle cramps or soreness the day after or a few days after hitting the gym, especially if you're returning after some time. But surprisingly, many people actually report that they feel satisfied when they feel achy or sore after the gym and return to the gym to replicate this feeling. This may seem perplexing at first, but it can be explained by the gate control theory, which I'll be elaborating on further later. We also see similar patterns for emotional pain. So we know that ending a relationship, whether it's romantic or platonic, can be a painful experience. But we often comfort ourselves that our lives are improved after ending it off with an individual. So, in the same vein, we reappraise the pain of the breakup to be beneficial, to reduce the emotional discomfort of missing an individual. So how does this work? So if we're faced with a situation that causes pain, we experience a degree of cognitive dissonance by experiencing this pain, especially if the situation was within our control. By reappraising the pain to be beneficial to us, it's seen as something that is good, and therefore, we reduce the feeling of pain that is associated with it.
Therefore, there is an opportunity to use the gate control theory and the idea of meaning making for the treatment and management of pain. This could not only be applied to the treatment of minor injuries, but also to the management plans for chronic pain patients too. Firstly, we could apply the concept of gate control theory through the use of counter-stimulation techniques. This could be something as simple as applying heat pads to more complex like massage therapy or acupuncture. Bauer et al. Identified that massage therapy significantly decreased back and shoulder pain of post-operative cardiac patients as compared to groups that were left with free time. In a way, the use of a different source of stimulation could help to inch the gate shut and help refocus the attention to either a separate area or provide relief to the painful area. Heat application is generally recommended already by doctors for minor injuries such as sprains and for chronic pain management. However, the gate control theory provides a psychological framework for why these techniques may be useful. A similar technique could be the use of progressive muscular relaxation exercises. These exercises involve the gradual tensing and untensing of muscle groups. In fact, in a study completed in 2019, they found that muscle relaxation treatments decreased pain severity and fatigue for cancer patients undergoing chemotherapy. Additionally, we could also manage pain levels by applying new meaning to the pain we are experiencing, or by creating an environment where we can focus mentally on something else. In Lefebvre and Jensen's 2019 study, they observed that when patients were put in a happy and more positive environment, they reported lower pain intensity and decreased anxiety about pain than those that were in the worried and negative condition. Thus, perhaps in moments where we feel pain, trying to have a positive outlook or taking steps to do an activity that makes you feel happy will in fact help you to decrease the pain you are experiencing. Ultimately, the gate control theory of pain provides a model for us to interpret and understand the way pain can affect our lives, how we can provide meaning to the pain we are experiencing, and how we can manage our pain effectively.